This as a kid, not knowing what air layering was, but we all had jobs, and I grew up in the country, and so part of my job was working on plants. And when my grandmother would come visit, she always wanted to make sure that I would put a jar over a japonica that she really liked. And we would put these jars, and if you looked at the garden, you would wonder what we were doing there. But we had jars on limbs, and no, I didn't know to put root tone on. We didn't cut them off or anything, but she knew which one she thought would make a great plant to give to someone. And so she would come through, and you would put a rock on the limb to hold it down, and then have this big jar. And the favorite jar was I would be sent out to go to these little restaurants and get pickle jars because they were big enough that you could put part of a limb in that and do it. But so it was a weird looking garden. And I was really amazed to find out that air layering was an accepted means of propagating camellias. What I would like to do is show you a few things, but I want to say first that we've got a group that works at Bonaventure, and fortunately there are 1, 2, 3, 4 of us here today. And on Tuesdays, we have, for the past, since 2007, been planning air layers. And when we started off trying to, with Jean's blessing, to air layer some of the old plants at Bonaventure. And these were called boutonniere plants. And they had smaller blooms. The bad part about it was we found that they suffer from dieback much more than some of the other camellias that were there. So that sort of ended that. And we started looking for places that we could actually get a camellia and air layer it, and then eventually bring them to Bonaventure. Today, we have put in, is it 480?
I think it's 380.
380, all right. Some number 80 there that are growing, and if you haven't been to Bonaventure and seen this, you should go along the way because we have Mullerin Way now totally lined with camellias. And most of these camellias are from the old plants. We were really fortunate, and Ron and Belinda, and Ginger and I have spent a lot of time with the red bugs out on Wiltberg is at Bonaventure on Whitfield. At the end of Whitfield, there is an old camellia garden that a friend of Lamar's, they were both in Girl Scouts together, I think, has the property there. And one day we were talking about camellias, and Kay said, well, do you want to use our lot? Well, I would love for all of you people to see this because we have plants, and they have plants in there that are labeled in Dr. Park's handwriting, because Park would give them things and other people would bring plants in, and you can see all these older plants there. And so we started with using older plants, and now we have gone to different gardens all around Savannah, and we don't mind asking people, can we come do an air layer here? And we have people that have been very willing to let us air layer plants, and we have taken them to Bonaventure. What do we do to air layer? And I'll pass some of these out before we do them. But this is the cup that we use. We started out, when we first started doing these, we would use aluminum foil and yogurt cups and do a hole in the bottom to put the stem of the plant in. And they were not very attractive, and it would take us to do 5 plants. It would probably take us 4 or 5 hours, because by the time you do this, if something went wrong, you'd lose your foil. So we can buy these cups today, and you can buy them. I get them from Lee Valley. It's a company, and I'll pass this around, and it tells you it's rooter cups, like the roto-rooter, but this is to root your plants in. And we have tried different type cups, but we have about 400 of these now that we tried to air layer on. And what happens is that they recommend that you put tape over it and cover it. We have found out over the course of the last 2 years, we don't cover any, do we, Ron? So we just leave it, and they root faster that way. The other thing that we have tried, we got some of the glass containers, which supposedly root even faster. The biggest problem with those are that I have broken every one that I bought. Because if you're not very careful, after you take them off, and you put them in the back of the car to take them somewhere, and something falls on them, they're broken, you get one use out of them. Everyone says they're faster, but these plastic cups, and I'll start passing them around before I tell you the next part we're going to